what's up? Hello, my name is Liz, and you're watching For Booking Out Loud. So today I am going to do a book review by NOS4A2. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I finally found, I guess, how to pronounce the name of this book after reading it. Go figure. By Joe Hill. Wow, that was a roundabout way of saying that. But yes, I have read it. It was amazing. If you just want to know what I rated it, it was a 4-star. You can leave now. It was nice seeing you. But if you want to stick around and see what it's about, how I liked it, yada, 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 stick around. I will not be spoiling this book. I hate spoilers personally. And I'm just going to discuss the pros and cons of this book without spoiling anything. Mostly because this is a horror book. And, well, not mostly, but I just hate spoilers, point blank. So let's be realistic on that one. All right, let's get into it. Summary. Honestly, this is a pretty difficult book to summarize. I will say off the bat, I was very taken aback about the premise of this book, mostly because I had gotten this cover, and when I opened the book and I discovered what it was about, I am extremely disappointed in myself that I did not get, I'll put it right here as well on top of this book, this cover, because it is a horror book about Christmas, but also set in the summer. So take that as you will. However, this book is kind of difficult to explain because it's broken up into 3 sections and it's set over 2 time frames. And there's truly 2 main, let's go with 2 main characters. You have the main protagonist, which is Victoria McQueen. Yes, Victoria McQueen. And you initially meet her when she is a young child. I believe she was 7 or 8 around that time, when she discovers her otherworldly, paranormal-ish powers, where she can find things. Point blank. Lost things, she's gotcha. And she is discovering this for the first time. And then you also, in this first part, meet our antagonist, who is Charles Manx, M-A-N-X, Manx. I am just going to call him Charlie this whole time. Let's just go with that, okay? I cannot pronounce that last name. It's easy, and this is going to be a mess of a video. I can just say that right now. I apologize. But Charlie, you have your antagonist, Charlie. And he's something. He is very much something. He likes kids. But like, not like that, but like that. I don't know. I thought this book was going in one direction at one point, and then it went in a different direction, and A, I really enjoyed that, and B, like, I enjoyed that it did not go in that other direction, because I would not have enjoyed this book if he liked kids in that way. Let's just put that way. I'm a teacher. It does not fly with me that way. Okay? But he wants to protect kids, and he travels around the country in his Rolls Royce. Blah, 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 blah. There we go. And he has this NOS4A2 license plate. NOS4A2. NOS4A2. And he kidnaps kids and takes them to this fantasy land called Christmas Land. And that's where the Christmas theme comes into this book. And then he leaves the kids there forever. Okay, so we have our protagonist and we have our antagonist. So what happens is that this book is really the clashing of these two characters throughout a couple of decades and throughout a couple of scenarios. And I mean, even furthermore, it truly is Hill taking this concept of Christmas, which is in popular culture a very nostalgic, fun, warm time, considered really heartwarming, but like, people are generally supposed to have good memories of Christmas, right? And Hill flips this on its head and he truly transforms it into this horrific thing. And there's this one character in this book that Charlie has truly deformed, and kind of the character himself too. And it takes this character on that particular journey where I wouldn't say he was good initially, but like, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Okay. So I picked up this book on one hand, because I wanted to pick up Joe Hill. He is an author I'm very curious about. I ended up picking up 3 novels of his. This one, his short story collection, Full Throttle, and Heart-Shaped Box. Truly all wonderful. This was the last one I needed to read. However, I will say this is the one that has caught my attention the most so far. It's 700 pages, but it truly doesn't feel like 700 pages. It's a really, I wouldn't say easy read, but fast read. You don't feel like you're reading 700 pages. You're just continually flipping. You keep the pace, or I shouldn't say you keep the pace. Joe Hill keeps the pace going. And it's just, he has a way with horror. Now, in saying that, he is, and I'm sure he genuinely hates this, he is Stephen King's son, and he does have a way that's fairly similar of writing to Stephen King. So if you are not a fan of Stephen King or that type of horror that Stephen King writes, I would not suggest this to you. But if you are a fan of Stephen King's horror, I would suggest this to you. It's a book that does truly feel terrifying at times. I would never, ever visit Charlie's Christmas Land in my life, point blank. And honestly, the ending took me by surprise in a really, really good way. The beginning was incredibly strong. The middle slowed down for me a little bit. Not enough to say that it was a slow book at all, just the action wasn't really there, the interest wasn't really as much as the beginning. But that last 3 pages, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I really do highly suggest this book if you are a fan of horror at all, if you are a fan of authors taking something on its head and turning it around. Turning something around on its head. Turning a concept around on its head. There we go. I told you this video was going to be interesting. But this was just, it was a wonderful horror book. Like I said in the beginning, I ended up giving it a 4-star. It is my favorite Joe Hill book to date, and I'm so looking forward to reading his other stuff because I think I have quite a bit to look into, and I'm very, very excited. But if you enjoyed this video, please give me that thumbs up. I actually reviewed this book on my Instagram, so if you have not seen that, go ahead and check my Instagram account. I always link it down below, or you could just go to Instagram. You can find me at For Booking Out Loud. You know, why not? Shameless plug. And course, if you have read this book or want to read this book, leave that comment down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.